Hello.
Well, I was going to do an introduction, but you all jumped the gun and jumped up and gave all the love in the world, which is awesome.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to be here with you.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, sir.
It's such a wonderful opportunity to be able to speak with you and to get to know you a little bit better. Even though we feel like I think it's safe to say that we feel like we know you so well.
I think so. I think you're right.
But you know, there's always room for more questions, and I would love to talk about some things that maybe some things that we already know, but we'd love to hear. Are you okay?
I'm trying to get over here so I can sit.
Oh, so you can turn to me. Okay.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, let's bring the mic a little bit closer. All right.
Hi, y'all.
Okay. Okay, the house is set. Here we go. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. I love the original series. I love watching you. You were in television at a time when you didn't see a lot of African Americans on TV, and you had such a wonderful presence and a beautiful role, and it had so much importance at that time. And I understand at one point you were thinking of leaving the show.
Yeah, I sure was.
And there was something that happened that gave you second thoughts for that. Would you mind letting us know? Okay. Well, you decided, from what I understand, that you went to Gene Roddenberry and you told him that you wanted to leave. You wanted out.
Yeah.
Because you had a show on Broadway that you wanted to do.
Right.
Right? And he said okay, even though he didn't want you to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you were almost out the door and something happened.
Yeah.
Could you tell us what that...
You tell me.
I'm afraid. You spoke with a legendary figure, a legendary gentleman named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's right.
And were you both really good friends?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
And you told him that you were going to leave Star Trek. And he wasn't having that.
No, he said, no, you're not. You can't. And I said, what you told my dad, Mom. He says, you cannot. And I couldn't.
It was that cut and dry?
Yeah.
I remember reading somewhere where he mentioned that he and his family watched you. So Dr. Martin Luther King and his family were Trekkies.
Yes.
How cool is that? Come on.
You can't believe that.
I would love to see an artist's rendering of Dr. King in a Star Trek outfit. That would just be so awesome.
I'd love to see it too.
Wait.
I'm sorry?
Wait.
Wait for it? And see, we just put it out there to the universe. We're going to see it very soon. Mark my words. There you go. Exactly. And the dream is always being realized, even to this day. And so because of that, you decided you were going to stay. Now, you went back to Gene Roddenberry. Was he cool with it? Did he give you a hard time? Or was he like, see you on Monday?
He said, wonderful, welcome home.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
And he said, I knew you weren't going to leave us. And I said, I couldn't. And he said, welcome home. And that was wonderful.
And here you are.
Yeah. And here I am.
What would you say, now, you're back. You were back. And you did 3 amazing seasons, some wonderful films. And what would you say is Star Trek's biggest contribution to society?
Oh my goodness. Star Trek played to the audience as a whole, and it was like home, and it was like if we left, we'd be leaving home. If we stayed, you could do a lot of things and still be there. So I think that I never did want to leave. So it was a good excuse to stay. And I don't mean an excuse, but I mean a reason, you know, to stay. And there were so many people who were personally feeling involved, and we came, it seems like we came together, and they were happy that I stayed, and I was really happy I stayed, and because it was really something that in the final analysis I really wanted to stay.
Do you think that it had, so if you had left, let's say in another universe, not a mirror universe, but another universe, you decided to leave, do you think Star Trek would have still had the same impact that it continues to have to this day?
Oh, no.
That's how powerful Star Trek is.
That's right. And it still is.
It is. Are you a fan of the new series, of the new movies that are out now? Have you?
I haven't seen many of them, but yes, I'm on their side.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
They were on my side, I'm on their side.
You know, there's that saying, if not, I'm probably killing the saying, but if not for you, there wouldn't be me. And on a personal note, I'm an actor, and I look at someone like you, and I think that because your work, your sacrifice, your commitment to what you chose to do paved the way for myself as an African American. But it also opened up the doors for women, for women of color, for Latinos, Asians, for so many other races. And I understand that you also did work with NASA as well.
Oh, yes.
And there was a lot of work that you did, which really helped to pave the way for a lot of women entering the NASA space program. Is that correct?
With NASA, I recruited the first women and minority astronauts for the space shuttle program. And this was quite a deal, because I was told, oh, you won't find anybody, you won't be able to do that. And of course, you can't tell me I won't be able to do something. That's just what I'm going to do it. And I brought in people far and wide, and people began to come in and raise their youngsters to arrive at that and come in. So it was really wonderful to be involved in that way and to achieve that much. Yeah.
I know that one of the more famous people who were in the space program was Dr. Mae Jemison.
Yes.
And I'm sure we all know, in Star Trek: The Next Generation,
Yes.
she cameoed in that, and
Yeah, we were good friends. Yeah, we became good friends.
and you introduced her this
Yeah.
weekend
Yeah.
here at Silicon Valley Comic Con.
Absolutely.
So cool. So you're still friends to this day?
Huh?
You're still friends to this day?
Oh, yes.
So you've known each other for how many years now?
How many years has it been?
Since you is that a personal question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I won't ask anymore. So, but that's wonderful. You sing. You have a career. You had a career, or still have a career as a singer. And my understanding is you sang with some pretty famous people. You sang with, correct me if I'm wrong, Duke Ellington.
Mhm.
Yes. Anybody else? Well, I mean, Duke Ellington alone is like conversation.
Duke Ellington alone was fantastic, but because I did, I was invited to be with everybody, everybody, sort of, and I took it upon myself to be with as many as I could, because I love what I do. And I love the people that do it for bring me in. And we had a wonderful time. It was worthy and worth it.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough to be right there.
We were lucky enough to hear your beautiful voice on Star Trek. And I think there were maybe 2 or 3 episodes where you had the opportunity to sing
Oh, yeah.
on the show.
Yes.
What did you have any input in terms of what you could sing, or did they just kind of throw something at you and ask you to sing it?
Neither. It was, they would either ask me what to do with it, what did I think I should do with it, or they would ask me what did I think about what they wanted. I loved it all. Whatever they wanted, I did. Whatever I wanted, I bring to them, and they almost to the nth degree said, right on,
They were open to
we
it.
We worked really well together.
Now, do you think that was even more because of the fact that you were going to leave and then you came back and they were like, well, we don't want her to leave again?
Maybe. I don't know. I think we came to the same position on what we were doing together. We understood one another, and we worked together as one. Yeah, it was wonderful.
I remember I think it was an episode of Star Trek in the original series where you were all like in the eating gallery, and you started to sing. Spock had his, what was it that he had? This little harp, little Vulcan harp. Yeah. And you started to sing, and I remember there was this reaction where he was like, it almost makes me think he's like, well, whoever can sing. And I always thought, wow, you even impressed Spock.
Yeah.
And he's the one who, it's hard to impress Spock.
Yes.
So, and then of course you blessed us again with your beautiful voice in Star Trek 5 as well.
Thank you.
Yes, beautiful voice. You've recorded albums as well, is that correct? How many do you?
I don't know.
A lot.
I think, several anyway.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, pick up our albums. Pick up our albums. So.
What I like, came to like a lot was that I'm already out there, I would go to a friend's house and they'd turn it on and there's me, you know. Oh, that was kind of nice.
Who's that? Right,
Yeah.
right.
And my very good friends would give me real a feeling of where they were coming from on my work. It's which made me always keep up with what I was doing.
They were on you. They were making sure you do your best.
Yes,
That's
that's
great.
right. That's
That's great.
right.
Well, let's see. We could open the floor up to questions.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask? Ms. Nichols? Yes, sir.
Hello,
Hello there.
hello. I was watching Star Trek when I was 12 years old, the very first ones, and I really appreciated you being on that show. One question I have is that you were on the original Star Trek series, but you also reprised Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek, the animated series, in particular the slaver weapon. How was that experience for you? Was it any different? And did you play Uhura any differently on the animated series than you did on the original?
No, I think just doing it is essential, and doing it with whomever who really wanted to do it with me, wanted to see it happen. It's not like doing it in spite of. It's doing it because. And everybody was on the because angle. So it was wonderful to do and to be there, and still is. Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoyed that series very much too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It was a good opportunity to get some voice work in.
Thank you.
Hello. Somebody. Yeah, there you go. She got it.
So, my question is, do you still watch the same series?
Do you still watch the same series, the original series?
Like the one that you played?
The series?
Do you still watch Star Trek, the original series, where you played over it?
Oh, yes. And it's still wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm one of those youngsters who grew up in here in the San Francisco Bay Area with little black children, little Indian, Hispanic children.
I can't really hear.
Okay.
Could you speak louder?
Sure. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm one of those youngsters that had the great fortune of growing up and going to school with children of all colors and creeds. So I only appreciated just how lucky I was as I grew older. So I want to thank you for being one of the people that was able to make that happen, especially having interacted with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I want to ask, was there a moment where you were surprised by your own influence on social issues?
I always am. I love doing what I do, and it never occurs to me that I can't do it. Can't do it. There are things that mean you can't do this because it's not open, but I mean can't personally achieve. And I joined so many people who love the show and love the work that I just feel like one of you guys. And I thank you very much.
Thank you. Speak into the mic, please. Thank you.
Hi, I was
Can you speak louder?
Sure. I was wondering, what kind of content would you like to see on Star Trek Today?
What kind of what?
What kind of content would you like to see on Star Trek Today?
Content?
Yeah, what kind of, what different stories? Yeah, what kind of storylines? What different
I'd
stories?
just like it to go on. like it's going this way, it goes up like that. Yes, I love it. And whether I'm doing it or not, I love the people who are doing it well. Yeah. Thank you. Hello.
Well, just want to say I got to see you with some friends back in San Francisco singing.
And what?
We got to see you sing a while back, and it was beautiful and very memorable. And love all your work. Wondered if you had any funny or any interactions with William Shatner. He's kind of a force to be reckoned with. Just if you had any funny on the set or off the set interactions with him or anything.
We were all very, very close together as actors. We saw it in the same way, and so we were always working towards that way, to take it to its best length as far as we could take it and do well. Do, as they say, dang well.
So something else,
I think we succeeded, whether it was us or the next people or someone near us. I think we all felt very much the same way. And that was really nice to experience.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello there.
Hi.
So you were on actually several episodes of Futurama.
Say what?
You were on several episodes of Futurama.
Oh, yeah.
So how did that come about? Were you a fan of the show? Did they just approach you? Did you actually get to see Al Gore while you were recording?
Yes, and yes.
Yeah, that's all I have to
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. How was that working on Futurama?
On Futurama, I don't remember.
No? That's okay. That's good. You had a chance to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anything that has to do with something that I love doing, I don't care if it comes from here or over there or over there. If we're all coming from the same point of view, it's not the people that I'm crazy about working with. It's the people that are working on what they're working on that I'm crazy about. And then I become very, very together with the people who are doing it. Does that make sense?
Was it? Sorry, one thing. It was really cool to watch the show because you were reunited
Yes.
with mostly everyone.
Yes.
And I think it's fair to say that everyone really enjoyed your return and everyone else's return as well.
I'm delighted, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I understand you may have not seen the newer reboot movies, but in the new movies, Spock and Uhura have a romantic relationship, and I was wondering. I was wondering how you felt about that.
I think she just answered.
Hello. I thought I would just ask a different, not a Star Trek question. So I want to know, are there any TV shows that you are watching right now that you like? Any TV shows that you like on TV?
If there are any TV
Any
shows,
Any,
Yes.
any television shows that you currently watch that you like?
I usually don't like to say which ones and so forth, but there are a lot of them that I love because I love seeing what the producer, the director, the actors are doing with something that I haven't seen before. So that's about it. I love
to
it.
name it?
Yeah, I love seeing it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I had a question for you about considering how long you have been in the industry, what your perspective is on the representation of women in the sci-fi genre and fantasy genre as well, and how it's changed, and just how you feel things are going.
I'm not sure what the question is,
That's okay.
but there is nothing that we women can't do. Yes, and there's nothing that men don't see us as doing anymore. There's nothing that they don't see us doing. We can do it all like they can. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, Ms. Nichols. You mentioned earlier that you had a dream to go to Broadway. What are some of your favorite Broadway musicals?
What are some of your favorite Broadway musicals? Because at one point you wanted to go to Broadway.
Anything that gets on the stage of Broadway, I love it. I go to see it, and I'll go and see it again and see it again. Because Broadway really brings out the length and the stretch of what you do. You know, you don't just go in and watch it and leave. You go in there and you get caught up into it, and you just live it. And I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with that. I do a lot of theater as well, and
Yeah.
there's really nothing like being on stage.
That's right.
You can do as many television
Films
series.
as
Yeah.
you can do as many films as you want, but being in the theater on stage there's nothing like it as far as for me, as far as I'm concerned. I love it all.
I agree. And there's something raw about being there because
Yes.
you make a mistake, you have to keep moving.
That's
You gotta keep it moving.
right.
You know,
That's
and-
right. Oh, and I learned if you make a mistake, don't try to deny it or clean it up like it didn't happen. Make it work with you, because you can do something, make a mistake and wrap it right into what you're doing and still not lose what it is that you meant to do. I do anyway. I take it and make it mine.
Do it to the point where the audience doesn't even know that you messed up.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I had a director who, before we went on, and and did the show, he would always just remind us, the audience don't know jack.
That's
So
right.
just keep it moving, keep it rolling.
That's right, and they want to know what you mean up there, you know, because if they already knew it, there's no reason for them to be there, except to say, okay, well, let's stand on But they come to see what you bring to something that they know, you know, and that's what I love about it.
Do you still do theater? Would
Yes.
you? Yes.
Yeah,
Do you have anything coming up?
yes, but I can't talk about it.
All right.
Not yet anyway.
We'll keep a lookout.
Because I want to make sure it comes through.
All right. Stay on the lookout.
If you could sing with anyone, who would you want to sing with?
I'm sorry, what?
If you could sing with anyone, who would you love to sing with?
Oh my goodness. Belafonte? Name some people. I love the theater, and I love working in it, and I love the people who work in it. But I love film. I love doing film. I just love working. Yeah, you know, I just love working. Get out there, Nichelle, and show them how you do it.
Yes, hi, Ms. Nichols. I was just wondering that, being that we're on the subject of Broadway, George Takei did a Broadway show entitled Allegiance, which was based on the true story of his family being put into an internment camp during World War II. I was just wondering if you did get the opportunity to see the production he did Allegiance.
You wanted to know what?
He wanted to know if you had the opportunity to see Mr. Takei in Allegiance.
Oh, yes, yeah. And I made little notes. Like he does. And like you would for me, you know. Yeah, we're very close in that way. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you as well.
All right.
Who do you still keep in touch with?
Huh?
Who do you still keep in touch with? You said George Takei, you two are still close.
Oh, anybody and everybody.
Walter Koenig?
Yes. Everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you can, when you say keep in touch with, it's not like an everyday business, but if there's something you wanted to find out about through them or through somebody else, I make no hesitation.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from the next generation?
Everybody.
Everybody. Yes, ma'am. There you go. Yes, sir.
There was a book out recently called Hidden Figures, and of course there was the movie based on Hidden Figures, and that was about the black women who were mathematicians and computers over at Langley at NASA. At times in that movie I kind of got angry by the way they were treated, and I was just wondering, in the book they did mention your story about you and your encounter with Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time period, how did you deal with segregation during that time period?
I'm not sure what the question
How did you deal with segregation during the time period, the 60s?
The 60s.
Yes, during the 60s.
was. Oh, segregation. I don't even know how to spell it. I go above and beyond it in my head. I don't let it bring me down. I rise above it, or hope to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
I think that answers your question.
It does, because it actually follows what the women in that book actually thought about segregation at that time. They actually said they kind of rose above it too. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm having a wonderful time.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, the casting of Star Trek, the original series, how were you the first person they were thinking of for the role? And if so, how did that transpire?
Of course I was. But yes, I was. And I was so glad. I'm always so glad when they come to me and I get a chance to create it. But I'm equally glad to come behind anybody who has created it and see where I'd like to take it, you know. And that's what we actors do. That's what's wonderful about the business.
Well, I don't think we could think of anybody else playing Uhura than you, so we love you. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? Anybody? Last call? Anybody?
I know there's some questions out there.
You know you have questions.
Hi. A lot of celebrities, like other celebrities, do you have any movie star or anyone that you would like to meet that you haven't met yet?
Oh. I haven't met Nichelle Nichols yet.
She's a lovely woman. I believe you'd like her.
I don't know that I'm about.
You've met everybody, haven't you?
Yes, I've met a lot of people, not everybody, but I met so many people. And what's the wonderful thing about it is we get together and talk about, the first thing we do is talk about whatever it is that we want to achieve or are doing or can be done, or what can be done. We want to find out what everybody else wants to find out, the same thing. So an actor is an actor is an actor. That's who we are. Thank you.
So my question is.
Can you hear me? Could you speak closer to the mic, please?
Yeah.
So
No, put the microphone down to your face.
Can somebody help her? Sorry, can you
Yeah,
help her?
there you go.
There you go.
Hey.
So my question is, who is your favorite person that you worked with when you created Star Trek?
Who is your favorite person that you worked with well, she said when you created Star Trek. Who's the favorite actor? The favorite person that you worked with on Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you have a favorite actor on Star Trek that you worked with?
Everybody.
Everybody?
Not there. But that's the truth. There are actors that take it one place and one that takes it another place or wherever you are. And I love it when they're taking it where I'm coming from, but I also love it when they're taking it somewhere else and I go, ooh, let's go over there and find out what that is, you know. So you stretch because everybody doesn't do the same thing, you know. That you're not going to go in and see every actor doing exactly the same thing the same way. You may be doing the same lines, but you're taking it where it comes from in here.
Okay.
Okay.
I love, as an actor, I love working with people who I like to say are better than me, because as you were saying, you do learn. And as an actor, you can never stop learning.
That's right.
And it's
Yeah.
always.
This is exactly, as an actor, you never stop learning. You think and it doesn't mean you stop and do what somebody else does, but what somebody else does well causes you to do something that you're doing in response, maybe, because it may not be the same role. It may be a role to role. So, I just love acting. What can I tell you? You know, and with people who love it too, it's just worthy. It's just worth being there.
It is. Yes, sir.
Ms. Nichols, you are such a treasure. We love you. I am interested in your acting, and what was your motivation at the beginning? What brought you into acting or into singing? And were you singer first? Were you actress first? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think I was a singer first, or in spite of. I've always, from a little girl, I was always a singer, and I love it, and I love it to this day. But because singing is acting, and acting is turns around and lets you take your singing somewhere, you know, that you may not have thought about yourself. I just love it all.
Lose your soul. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
You go a lot of places and meet a lot of people, thousands of people every year. And yet I have never been in the presence of anyone who exudes as much grace and patience and love as you do. How do you do it? How do you do it?
How do I do what?
How do you exude so much grace and love and just, you're so genuine. I know I'm kind of adding on to what you're saying, but you're such a lovely lady, and we love you for it. How do you do it? You continue to do this all the time, and we love you for it.
I don't know that I know exactly what you mean, but see that sign that says Nichelle Nichols, actress, singer, Star Trek's Lieutenant Uhura? I love that. I love seeing my name up in lights. I love seeing it and knowing that that really is me. I'm going in there and do it again tonight. I'm going to do it again, and I just don't know how to stop.
We don't want you to stop. We don't want you to stop.
Thank you.
Yes. We're going to take this last question.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's an honor to have you in all of our lives. You've changed a lot of people's lives for the better.
Thank you.
No, thank you. We all know that Star Trek helped change our society. We know that. I'm not sure that you know that it also helped our military. I may not look like it, but I was a soldier for a long time, did a lot of deployments, and whenever we're over there, we always have little sayings that help us get through, most of which I can't say in here. But one of the big ones was always, Well, there were two big ones. One was Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, and number two, more importantly, Star Trek's real. That helped us get through, and you were the biggest part of that. So thank you.
This has been great being with you.
This is all the time we have. I wish we could do another hour talking to you.
As the man says, I wish we had another hour or two to be with you, but this has just been heavenly for me. Thank
Nichelle,
you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. Nichelle,